already in his lungs.
And we're up and running. We jumped in early. Some breaking news. I don't know if you guys saw it, but Trump's on his way to Walter Reed.
Watching it right now. Marine One is sitting on the White House lawn.
I was going to ask you guys to talk a little bit about the possibility that the 25th Amendment could be invoked voluntarily. And that was before you sent me that text, Patsy, because even without having hospitalization, if he was going to be quarantined for 14 days, which they said he was, how many of the duties could he actually perform without direct contact with people? I mean, I know we live in a virtual world to a large extent, but it would seem to me that there would possibly have been a need to do a voluntary 25th Amendment transfer of power, at least for temporary purposes.
Lou, you're in silhouette, by the way. There you go. That's better.
Do I look good that way?
Oh, you look better.
Everybody.
Wouldn't the powers just go to Pence?
Yeah, but we've had a transfer twice before in the past, under Reagan and under George Bush. They both signed him over to their vice president. Of course, they resumed power once they came out of their procedures.
So, all right, this might be sounding like a little technical, but do they actually have to declare it or sign it over or something like? I mean, I'm sure there has to be something official or a series of official steps have to take place. But
the easiest is to have them. If they voluntarily sign it over, it's the simplest way. Because there's no, evaluation done, there's no declaration made. It's a self-declaration by the president himself, saying that I will not be capable of performing the duties of the presidency for this period of time or until further notice. But if they don't sign it over and there's a necessity to do it, then you'd have to have a medical intervention and you'd have to have some declaration made based on a medical procedure or a medical opinion.
This late in the day, especially on the East Coast, right? I mean, I understand it's we're supposed to start at 5:30. We actually jumped on earlier because of this news. For the most part, the week's over, right? I mean, there's still stuff that happens behind the scenes and in the back rooms or whatnot. But for the most part, the week is over. Does this seem a little strange or maybe not strange? Strange might not be the correct word. Does it raise an eyebrow? I wish I could do that. I wish I could pull a rock and just raise one, right? I can't. Does it seem a little odd that he's headed to Walter Reed when basically all we heard all day was that he's had mild symptoms?
Well, didn't you send a post over Discord today saying he was showing signs Wednesday?
Yep.
So, and they don't tell you the truth anyhow. Well, you know what? I shouldn't even say just Trump, but in any situation like that, they're really not going to let on for the president because of security or whatever. I don't care who it is. If I'm wrong, I don't think, but I mean, if that happens to any president, they're not going to really let on that much.
Yeah, but normally, right? They'll. Did you happen to see the hot mess that was the White House today? You have people running around all over the place giving impromptu pressers here and there. Oh, and by the way, none of these assholes wearing masks, even whenever they're fearless leader and Mrs. Fearless Leader. And the one he wants to be his side piece, fearless leader, all tested positive, all quarantined, and all these fucksticks are still running around without masks.
Yeah,
and impromptu interviews all over the place. These guys can't slap their ass with both hands, Lou. I'm not so sure that there would be anything in place to. I don't think they would know to do something like that.
Well, that's true. And then Frank said, "Who would take over the duties?" I was thinking, doing what? Watching Fox News.
Yeah.
And truthfully, he has one of the prime conditions for COVID and being past 65 or whatever. He's if he's 239, I'm a slim 165. I could tell you that. If he's actually, give him 6'2" and looking at that body, he's about 275 minimum.
Well, what I say in Discord, right? He had the Surgeon General tell the world that he's in perfect health and he weighs less than I do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 20. What am I right now? 203 at 5'11". There ain't no way in hell he's 239 at 6'2".
Nope.
Oh God, no. And in perfect health, no high cholesterol, no nothing that would a 70-plus-year-old man would have. He's in the peak of health.
That doesn't like to eat food that's actually good for him. He lives on Burger King and Wendy's and McDonald's.
Yeah.
And KFC, a bucket of KFC.
KFC is big with this guy. He likes the fried stuff.
So speaking of some of the things that they were talking about on some of the talk radio here, and I'm in Maryland right now, so I got very close to DC today. Some of the things they're talking about on talk radio is what his medications were before he started a medication regimen today. And just so if you want to laugh, here's what they said his daily regimen was. He's on vitamin D, he's on zinc, he's on a daily aspirin, and he was on some other, I can't remember the name of the medication, but it's a very small dose of some other medication, and they didn't disclose what that was for, but it didn't sound like anything I ever heard before. And then just today, and I suppose that that daily aspirin is for, just the normal, let's keep the heart health, right? He just was put on a cocktail of Regeneron. And I guess this news has been out publicly since before the stock market closed because I guess Regeneron jumped about 10 or 20% after the news came out that he's on Regeneron cocktail at this time. So, but everything else dropped today on the stock market because of the news. Also, one other thing I was going to throw in there was a radio station, just a typical kind of like music station where they have local callers call in. And the guy the DJ flat out said, if it's true, then I don't wish any harm on anybody. I don't wish death on anybody or any harm on anybody. If it's true, it's karma. He goes, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's not true. This guy doesn't have COVID. And he said, and then all the callers were calling in and saying, yeah, he's detracting from his taxes. He's detracting from supporting white supremacists. He's detracting from his beatdown that he took in the debate. So, I mean, this is where we are as a society. He's put us in a position of not believing in any institutions. Whether or not it's true, this is where we are because of the shit that they've pulled, the shenanigans they've pulled for the last 4 years.
Yeah, you're right. I agree, because had he done half the shit that, if half the shit was true, we know everybody has some lying, but if even 30% was true, you might not have a doubt.
Right.
But it's been like 98% false.
Yeah.
The truth he's told is when he flat out said he was going to flaunt the law and don't give a shit. I mean, truthfully, when he projects, but in normal circumstances, when he should have told the truth about stupid shit, he never did. Yeah. Even something simple.
Yep.
So, how do you believe anything?
We had a huge discussion in our Discord group today about that. How much of this do you actually believe, and how much with this guy? There's always been just there's been a lot of truth to everything that's happened with this guy. Everything that's happened. It's just he's either been, what have we said, right? He's either confessing or projecting, right? So it's not the information that has been false for a lot of it. It's been how it's presented. He's telling the world what you did. Well, he's telling the world what he did, but he's saying that you did it. Uh, so you're always you're never that sure. But again, I'm going to go back to the same thing. You have, I want to get into the timeline a little bit later because this gets really really shitty fast. But if this guy is in quarantine or whatever he decides quarantine is, yet everybody around him is still running around like it's an average day. I mean, yeah, they put out that memo that you can work from home or whatever it is, but look at how they're behaving. Uh, McEnany had that impromptu presser. I want to say around noonish, maybe or just early in the afternoon, where she again got everything on the planet wrong, and again was taking no precautions at all. Everybody she was talking to was wearing masks. Did you see Biden's presser today this afternoon before we got on?
No, I haven't seen anything.
He's at a podium, so you figure people are how far away from him, right? Got the mask on, right? And I'm sure that was visual and that was intentional, but he's been very consistent about his mask. It just doesn't seem to me, and again, maybe because you tend to read a lot into things. Are these folks trying to pull something? And I actually asked my wife that. I said, "Honey, do you think these folks are actually trying to pull this October surprise where he's going to come out of this thing and he's invincible? Or are these people just that totally fucking inept that they're just running around blindly?"
I'd have to say more inept than anything because we've seen that through 4 years. This is from Jim Acosta. This is 13 minutes ago. More from the White House on the trip to Walter Reed. Trump remains in good spirits, has mild symptoms, has been working throughout the day. So he was watching Fox all afternoon.
So I suppose the quarantine meant he was watching Fox by himself, which he normally does anyhow.
Yeah, I just find it hard to believe just because. So why is he going by helicopter instead of in the car?
Another good question. Frank, roughly how big a distance is that? Do you happen to know?
Yeah,
is it an unreasonable car ride?
No. I mean, the only thing I will say is this. I mean,
it's 5 o'clock.
Exactly, Lou. That's exactly what I was going to say. You're talking about the worst time of the day. And I will just say this: I just came into Baltimore, and coming into Baltimore at 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon is probably one of the worst times to do that. But it's much less congested than it is in DC. And I sat in traffic for a little while here, and in DC you're going to be gridlocked. So I can see why they're doing it for that reason.
Do you think something sparked the move to Walter Reed, or do you think somebody there is actually if somebody there is actually doing this out of precautions, they'd have to convince him to go. For somebody who like him, going to a hospital would be considered a sign of weakness, showing of weakness.
You know what? And also, you know what? We don't know what happened to him earlier in the year when there was rumors of a heart stent or a stroke or circulatory issues. And I mean, if it is COVID, maybe even mild symptoms, they're being precautionary because of that. We don't know the background of the health either.
But you still have to convince a narcissist to go to the hospital.
Right. And, another thing, too, is all of a sudden with this, I don't care how much more that base is saying, oh, we thought it was a hoax and no issue, and now he's flying to Walter Reed. Don't know if it'll convince him to vote otherwise, but isn't that a sign of, oh, maybe there is something to this and wearing masks?
I mean, at the very least, we may get people to take it more seriously as a result of this. I think that's a positive, regardless of whether this is true or not, regardless of whether they're gaming us, whether they're gaming the public over this. People are going to have to look at this and say, wait a minute. I mean, if you're a sports fan and you've been watching what's going on this past week, and you see the Tennessee Titans, the number just kept going up all week, right? It started with like three guys. There was a practice squad guy, there was a long snapper, and there was somebody else. Next thing you know, it's up to a dozen. And then, next thing you know, they're going to say, well, they're going to play that game on Monday night. No, we're going to play it on Tuesday. Now it's canceled indefinitely. This is the NFL. It's one game a week. The Titans couldn't keep themselves from getting COVID. It's serious. It's real. So, and now these MAGA folks are going to have to face the fact that their president is either admitting it's real by using it, or he actually does have this. There's people that tested positive in the press pool that have been in his orbit, so to speak, very close to him. So I think, it's one positive that could come out of it is people will take it more seriously.
Here's another comment. Here's Chris Wallace. He was on Fox a little bit ago. Confirmed that the Trump family arrived late Tuesday night to avoid being tested by the Cleveland Clinic as required by the venue's rules. They went on the honor system.
Oh, come on. Come on.
Yeah, he just confirmed that on Fox.
So he knew. Well, he knew about Hope Hicks. I guarantee you he fucking knew about that.
To know about Hope Hicks.
And then you put everybody else in that audience. There was only a few, but there was people in that audience, including, Joe Biden up on the podium with you. You put Chris Wallace. You put everybody at risk for what?
For his ego.
Yeah.
His whole family, who didn't wear masks, who should have been escorted out of the fucking building because they broke the rules. And it was not only the city rules or the venue rules, it was also the debate commission's rules.
Fuck the Cleveland Clinic. How about that? Fuck the Cleveland Clinic. They should have said, no honor system, you're taking the test.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that simple. Take the test, or you know what, you're just not debating.
Right.
Yeah, you're not getting on our premises. Especially whenever you have you're dealing with somebody who just absolutely refuses to abide by rules.
Yeah.
You're in the middle of a pandemic and you're just going to take it on the honor system. That's a good point, Frank. That's a really good point.
It pisses me off to no end, really.
That everybody just feels that they have to continue to give these folks the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Whenever they did nothing to deserve it.
And you're supposedly a premier. You've earned a reputation to this point of being a premier medical facility in the world, and now you've in one instant basically ruined that reputation.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point, and you can't say something like that. Would be pressured into doing anything.
Right.
Right. It's like I love whenever like even during the debate that. He had talked about pressuring the pharmaceutical companies. Dude, they own you. You're not pressuring anybody. Who the hell are you kidding? With as much money as they're pouring into your funds, you're not pressuring anybody.
No.
Hope Hicks, that is. No, this is according to ABC News. Okay, so we're going to go backwards a little bit. Okay, we're going to start here. We're going to do it in big chunks and go backwards. So around 1 a.m., Trump tweeted that him and the lovely lady tested positive for the virus and, quote, "will begin our quarantine and recovery process immediately." Okay, they're saying that Thursday, Hicks test positive for the coronavirus. Okay. Now she tested positive on Thursday. She was in Air Force One, and that night or Thursday at some point. White House officials say they learned of Hicks' positive test soon after Trump boarded Marine One to start his journey to Jersey. So they were all on Air Force One. He gets off the plane. He gets on Marine One, which is the helicopter for everybody not paying attention, and then went to Jersey. If you guys ever saw pictures of what it's like inside Air Force One, you have more room in a phone booth a lot of times. Okay? Gotta hope people watching remember what a phone booth is.
Watched Anchorman, you saw him in a phone booth.
Well, here's a good one right here. When Chris Wallace was on Fox, he said his quote tells Fox News viewers not to listen to Trump COVID advisor Scott Atlas. He has no training.
Yeah, now, right?
Bob Lust, you're right there, but they think they're above the law. They think they're above the laws of nature too. So
yeah.
let's do a little bit of reverse math, okay? Hicks test positive for the coronavirus on Thursday. Now, this would have been late Thursday whenever you figure everything that happened, or at least later in the afternoon. Wednesday, Trump was in Minnesota for that fundraiser where he decided to just motherfuck Omar like crazy, right? Mm-hmm. Remember that one? Okay. Hicks was with him then. So if she tested positive on Thursday, she was already hot on Wednesday. Okay. Tuesday, whenever he was in Cleveland for the debate, Hicks was there. Okay? So there's a real good chance that she was hot Tuesday too. So you have everybody that was in that entourage on Tuesday in Cleveland. She also would have infected the entire family because his adult children and senior staff decided to not wear masks. Remember, we just went over that. He goes to Minnesota on Wednesday. She goes with him. On Thursday, she tests positive, or she comes up positive. And don't forget this other thing. They're all doing that instant test, which has a 35 to 50% false negative result. Okay? So it is possible, and it's not really much of a stretch to say that whenever he was in Lordstown on Monday, whenever he had the Rose Garden event on Monday after that, whenever he had his campaign rally in Harrisburg on Saturday, where she was all those places, whenever he announced the nomination of Barrett to the Supreme Court, Mike Lee and Notre Dame President John Jenkins were there, who also announced today that they tested positive. There's no way that any of these people are this naive that they didn't know they were hot. There's no way. They didn't all know they were hot before this morning. There's no way. If they did, they were intentionally naive about it. They didn't want to get tested,
right?
Or it was the 35 to 50% false negative instant test that should be thrown away and never used again. I don't think it's too late to start calling them Typhoid Donald, as much as I hate to say it. How many people do you think they infected?
Well, at this point, just doing math and how many people they're around, let's wait 2 weeks. You think 1,000?
Right.
Yeah.
Isn't that what I kept saying? Give it 2 weeks?
Yeah, and it's always borne out. It really has. It's always proven itself, Patsy, every time we've said it, every time you've said it.
Yep. Yeah. All you got to do, he keeps, and these last rally he had, at this point, you could legitimately call that a super spreader event. And I don't even think you'd be exaggerating at this point. Because it is, right?
Yeah. You know what? I want to throw this in there, and we can jump back into the coronavirus stuff because it's really going to dominate our discussion today, rightly so. But I want to tell you guys what an impact the failure of Trump to denounce white supremacists and the Proud Boys had last week and into this. I mean, this week. It's been this week. It's been a hell of a long week, hasn't it? Um,
Oh,
uh, somebody that's very, very close to me. I'm not going to mention the name. I'm not going to mention the relation to me, but somebody that's very close to me is a MAGA, a very, very staunch Kool-Aid drinking MAGA. This isn't just a coworker. This is somebody that's very close. And I won't even discuss it with this person because there's no reason to, because we're never going to, it'll just cause rifts and arguments and we'll never see eye to eye on it. Right. As much as I would like to use reason and talk, it's just not going to happen. But this person, my wife pointed out to me today, this person on Facebook ran into our old buddy, Chris Marola. And, Chris will work himself into different machinations and different imaginations to create the best scenario for his favorite candidate, from all the way back to George Bush and George H.W. Bush. He just always is with the Republican candidate, no matter who that is, no matter what their condition is or their cause is. And now he's a Trumper. Chris Marola is a Trumper. Okay, and I sat with him at our class reunion. As a matter of fact, he was already a Trumper in 2016. He was excited about Trump. Anyway, he was trying to explain away that Trump didn't, in fact, mean he supported the white supremacists or the Proud Boys when he said that. Immediately, this person who's very close to me jumped in to the conversation with Chris and said, "Chris, I'm a Trumper, and I'm still going to vote for Trump. But I heard what I heard, and he supports them, and I don't agree with that one bit. And don't even come back and try to argue with me because you're wrong on this one, and I heard what I heard." And I was like, thank God. You know what I mean? Here's somebody who admits he's going to support him, but saw that for what it was, and it bothered him enough to comment on this. He's never, ever once spoken ill of Trump, this person. Never once spoken ill of Trump. Always defended him. And that's somebody that's hardcore. And, of course, Marola had no response because what's he going to say? What's he going to say then? You're going to try to argue somebody into this position that you already know they're never going to change their mind, right, and thought for what it was. Chris is a fucking asshole. I'm sorry. You know what? Chris, I went to school with you. I love you, but you're an asshole. You got to fucking wake up and smell the coffee. You're not going to explain that away.
Well, we've known him for how long, Craig? He is what he is.
Yeah.
Like Trump likes to say, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. People that aren't the red hat wearing MAGAs. The people that gave him a shot, right? They gave Trump a shot because they said, look, I like the idea that we're going to stand up to China. I like the idea that we're going to try to get things made in America again. I like the idea that we're not going to kowtow to people around the world. We're going to cut through the red tape. I like those ideas. I think we should get back to making stuff in America again. But now they see this kind of thing, and you're not a Kool-Aid drinker. Think about the impact that's going to have on them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if we start getting into these MAGAs, and I'm surrounded by them. I told you. I mean, I come home, I'm surrounded by them. So is Lou. I go to work, I'm surrounded by them. You feel like the only man in an all women's prison almost, right? I mean, you're just. I wonder how much their tone is going to change now that their fearless leader, came down with what he called a couple months ago the big Democratic hoax. Do you think they're going to sit there and say, "Oh, maybe it's not a hoax," or do you think they're going to say something like, "Well, somebody must have poisoned them"?
Well,
or some bullshit like that, right? I'm not saying that exactly, but some shit like that.
Well, they're already. I didn't even realize there was a woman on InfoWars with Alex Jones that's already accused the Democrats of giving Trump the COVID, and she says
the COVID.
Why? Yeah, and one of the comments was, why don't any major Democrats have it. And somebody responded back because they wear a fucking mask.
Beautiful, beautiful.
The COVID.
I know.
I love how they do that. The COVID. It's like the diabetes, right?
Diabetes.
It's Wilford Brimley.
But you look at the difference in the Biden approach, and you know, most of the Democratic candidates. I was on MAGA Twitter last night just to check them out, and before the announcement came out, there's a whole bunch of folks who have the blue check mark next to their name. They're MAGAs, and they're like, you know, if you lived in a Democratic state, your state would have, or if you lived in a Republican state, your state would have never been closed. You know, all these kind of comments, like people are saying, I want my state to reopen. I want my state to. If you lived in a Republican state, it never would have closed to begin with. And I just started going through all of them, thinking like, how can I respond to all these and say, you know, yeah, and it would also be dead, you know. And then they had one where they had a bunch of people at the Minnesota rally, and they're like, look at all these people. Can you say landslide? And I was about to say, can you say death cult? And they're all about to die. I mean, because out today.
Yeah, because you think how many. Well, let's go further. How many Secret Service guys were carrying it the last 5 days and not knowing it either, that walked into crowds?
Yeah.
Yeah. How about all the reporters?
All the reporters that were on Air Force One that were exposed and didn't know it, and they did.
How about the well? You got the reporters. You know, obviously all the people at the rallies, right?
Support staff.
Support staff.
Hey, let me throw this one out there. This is good because people have been talking about how three big leaders in the world have contracted coronavirus. Three big ones that denied the existence of coronavirus at times. One was Boris Johnson. I started to put in Boris Johnson before I even got to the question I wanted to ask. Google filled in age because that's what I wanted to ask. And I'm thinking other people are thinking what I'm thinking. He's 56 years old, Boris Johnson. Okay? So he had coronavirus, but he's 56. He's 20 years younger than Trump. And Bolsonaro.
He had a rough time, too.
He did.
Yeah, he had a real rough time.
Bolsonaro, who is Jair Bolsonaro, who's the Brazilian idiot who wants to deny it, also wanted to deny it. He's 65. So he's a good 10 years, just about 10 years younger than Trump. And have you ever seen the guy? I mean, he was pretty fit. Jair Bolsonaro is a pretty athletic looking guy. If you want to pull him up on the screen, but I got a picture of him here too. That he's a youngish looking 65 and he's pretty fit. But yeah, so you've got Trump who's overweight, morbidly obese, and he's 75 years old.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's in perfect health, Frank.
I know he is. all he takes is vitamin D, zinc, and an aspirin, Patsy. That's it. That's the only thing he's on.
Yeah, that's all you need. You know?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
You got that. You're golden. Unbelievable. These folks are unbelievable. You're gonna start seeing well, God willing, you're gonna start seeing a different tone now. I think from the MAGAs, and I'm real curious to see if it's going to be his he's a victim or he's a victim. He's either a victim of something nefarious or he's a victim of you know, which has been the last 4 years, the people around them, right? Which way do you think that's going to lead?
What do you think, Lou?
What was that again? I got sidetracked. I'm dozing here.
He Folks,
Is he
that's called stalling for time.
is he a victim nefarious that somebody like poisoned him or planted this in his in his world, or is he just a victim of the incompetence around him that couldn't keep up with the great President Trump?
No, nobody planted this because they're all idiots.
Yeah.
It's lucky he hasn't caught it before this.
Yeah, that's really the big thing. A few of us in the Discord channel just kept saying over and over again, do the math, because for some reason math is a real funny thing with these folks. They don't like to admit it, right? Or they don't like to acknowledge it. He was due.
Yeah. I got another take on it. Here's where he's going to go with it, guys. If he recovers, which he's got the best medical care in the world. I mean, chances are he's going to recover if he's got it even. And we're still questioning that. To some extent, there's a small part of the back of my mind's wondering if he really has this. But if he's there's a really good chance he's going to recover. And when he comes back from the recovery, he's going to say, I always said this was serious. Look back what I told Bob Woodward. I told the people that too. I said this was serious. I've always told the people it was serious. And he'll just change the whole discourse of what he said. And he'll say, you're just lying about that other stuff. I never said that. That's all fake.
Yes, exactly. You're absolutely right.
Or does he come back and say, oh, it wasn't that bad. Everybody can get through this.
No. And I'll tell you why he doesn't. Because as soon as he does that, he puts himself on even playing terms with everybody else. Or he elevates people to him.
Yeah, good point.
No, there's no way in hell he does that.
So does this cost him 2 more points?
There were some folks, and that's a good question too. There were some folks that were saying he was going for the sympathy vote.
Yeah.
I want to see the logic behind that. But yeah, Lou, I think it does, because if he has it, okay, then you're not going to hear from him for half the time left, roughly, right? If you do, it's going to be little snippets. It's going to be literally everything he accused Biden of doing. Remember, Sleepy Joe's afraid to come out of his basement. Remember that, all that bullshit?
Yeah.
And now, with 30 days left, it's Biden that's out on the campaign trail, and Trump that's in his basement. So he's got that going against him, right? If he makes this miraculous recovery because this whole thing was a hoax, or even if it wasn't a hoax, it was just embellished, then those couple 3 points that he's trying to get, or that momentum boost that he's looking for, is all going to be shot to hell, because people are going to look at him like the boy that cried wolf. Where does he go? What's he do? How does he get out of this, Frank? How does he try to bullshit his way through this now?
He is boxed in. I mean, you're making a great point, and I think that it comes back to this idea that the only way back from here, I think maybe Lisa on the Discord, your wife, said, there's a producer at heart with him, and I think Mnuchin is another one. Do they say, look at your president? He faced this down. He's come out of it. He can face just about anything. He can lead us through this. He knows what he's going through. He knows what everybody's going through because he's experienced it himself. He's going to be very compassionate to the public now about this. That's the only way I think that he can come back. And I don't know that he can play that role. He has to have that role really laid out and played out for him by others, as opposed to him doing it. But that'd be about the only way on the fly when you ask me that question, how can he get out of this? But otherwise, I think he's very boxed in. And the only other thing that he has left is a literal grab of power, a coup to try to stay in power.
Lou?
I also had heard too that he was very paranoid when it comes to just general cleanliness and avoiding people to begin with. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of that, he says, well, he doesn't want him wearing masks, but I had heard he was nowhere near most of the people in that White House. So I'm kind of guessing it was Hope Hicks that gave him the shot.
He wanted Honey, huh?
Jennifer Jacobs, senior White House reporter for Bloomberg News, just tweeted 15 minutes ago. Trump, who avoids hospitals or anything that makes him look weak or vulnerable, will spend, quote, the next few days at Walter Reed. White House shared details of flight to Walter Reed after financial markets closed in the U.S. So that's why he left so late, after the markets closed.
It's about 6.7 miles from the White House to the Walter Reed by car. So, yeah, you're talking 7 miles, which could take a good, honestly, at 5 o'clock, it could take a good 45 minutes easily. 45 minutes over that 7 miles.
Right. So do you think that, but I guess my question is, do you think that's why they waited until 5 whatever to get him there, is because they wanted to wait till the markets closed?
Absolutely. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's no doubt.
Here's one. Here's another one. Here's one. I don't know if you saw this. I don't know how many hours ago. It says Nancy Pelosi was contacted by the White House on the protocols of continuity of government, according to MSNBC.
What did we start the show with, guys?
Yeah. It's exactly what you said, wasn't it?
Yep. So, but back to your real quick question there, Patsy. Think about this though. In the White House, they have medical staff there, and they have pretty good stuff there. I mean, it's not to the level of Walter Reed, but they're capable of handling a lot of stuff there. So they probably kept him comfortable. They probably had some IVs and stuff like that, and things that were just really comfort measures to keep him hydrated and keep him pepped up. And they probably got him all ready to go, took him off of him, and got him in the helicopter at 5. Yeah.
During her presser, Kayleigh McEnany said that he was talking to leaders of foreign governments and continuing to work.
Sure. You've been on your cell phone when you've been in the hospital before too, right? I have.
Yeah, I was on the phone an hour after they took my gallbladder out.
I was on the phone while my gallbladder was trying to kill me. Give it to him. If I just can't get past the fact that this guy loves the television drama, and it's so hard for me to get past that. There's not something that's being very over dramatized about all this, and I know a lot of it is the press who's just really just blowing this whole thing up, because they're getting all, find me a what do they call it, a fainting couch or something like that, right? I mean, they're all going crazy. I don't even want to know what Fox Entertainment's talking about. Probably the latest baseball scores. If he's going to spend the next couple of days in a hospital room, how's he? Well, okay, I just set myself up for the answer. How's he going to do any work?
I mean, it comes back to what Lou just brought up and what we brought up at the beginning of the show. I'm wondering, I really do wonder if they'll sign over, if he'll voluntarily sign it over for the next few days. I wonder.
Well, and I just saw here where he hasn't tweeted in like 15 hours either.
Whoa, that's big.
That's got to be a record, honest to God. That has to be a record. Kyle Griffin, NBC's The Last Word senior producer, just tweeted, a Biden campaign official confirmed to NBC News that the campaign is pulling all of its negative advertising from their rotation of paid media. A Biden campaign official. All the negative advertising they're pulling.
Think Trump would have done the same had the shoe been on the other foot?
Fuck no.
Well, you know what? I could see Biden doing that, because those negative ads might go against him in this instance.
Yeah, it's a smart move.
It is.
But Biden also has a number of positive ads without Trump in them. did you happen? Speaking of ads, did you happen to see the one? I've only seen it once or twice. The first scene they show, it says Newcastle, Pennsylvania.
No, for real.
Yeah, I saw it. When did I see that? And I didn't know who the guy was, but it was somebody that said, and the farmer from Volant. I've seen that a handful of times.
I've seen that once or twice. That's it.
I've seen it, but there was another one. It said Newcastle, Pennsylvania. There was a guy that said he had voted for Trump, but feels that this is not the time. And it was kind of, we know COVID wasn't his fault, but he's not a leader.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was trying. I said, boy, I didn't know who the guy was, though.
Well, he's not from our neck of Mayberry. I can tell you that. We're the only ones.
Probably not.
There's just us. There's one guy down by Covert's Bridge. That's it. That's it. Your house, my house, and whoever the hell that guy is.
Yeah, because they put up signs across the street for me, and I was ready to take my big black magic marker. It says Trump 2020. I wanted to go there and just put Trump 20, cross out the other 20, and put to life.
You do that, your wife will kill you.
Yeah.
Well, I noticed one trend. I noticed down on Wallace Avenue, between where it used to be, between Highland Avenue, let's just say in that stretch of Wallace, there's more Biden signs down there popping up on every house. And it's really heartening because you think about that. That's the blue collar folks. That's the people that are every day. Then I go from where I live along Plank Road up to Giant Eagle. And along Plank Road, I see just about nothing but Trump signs. Okay. And that's the Neshannock folks who are traditionally a little bit more wealthy, have a little more money. And it's funny that, it's supposed to be Trump as the blue collar guy, right? Well, it doesn't seem like it's playing out that way in our little neck of the woods.
Yeah, I noticed that, Frank. Whenever I go like up toward my parents, going up towards your house, from here going up your way. You know how I'd have to go. Yeah, I've seen more Biden signs than I saw Clinton signs. Yeah, noticeably more.
Yeah.
I saw today. I had to run down to my parents, and I usually don't come down the street that often. It's usually always up to where they live. It's coming the other way, but there were 2 yards that had Trump signs that are now gone, and 2 yards right next to them with Biden signs.
Oh my! Okay.
Wow.
They had Trump signs early in August, and they are no longer there.
Wow.
Those are the kind of things that definitely I take notice. I agree with you, Lou. Those are big things, I think.
Did you notice? I forgot what the name of it's an older folks apartment building, right behind where Eden Park is.
Yeah.
Did you see the freaking huge Biden signs they have up there?
No.
Oh, dude, you got to go through the Interbelt, the Columbus Interbelt that way, going toward. Yeah, it's as big as those Lynn Ryan signs that we're seeing all over the place. Yeah, I was like, dude, these old folks know a thing or two. Maybe people should listen to them. Yeah.
Did you know Marine One's still parked on the White House lawn?
For real?
Yeah.
Well, you can't be in a hurry for these things, Excuse me.
I'm wondering if they had him hooked up to some stuff, at the White House, and they have to kind of get it all either situated and tucked away to get him on there, or just to get him off of it for a little while to get him on there.
You know what? It might be. It might be. Or is he worse than people than they're letting on? If he's quarantined, I promise you, He had his phone.
Yeah.
And not one tweet.
Yeah.
You know, if nothing else, he's going to be tweeting about how he's kicking the shit out of this thing.
Right.
Right? I don't know. Am I just reading into this?
No, I think you're. Look, the last tweet I saw that he sent out, the last one I personally read, I'm sure he sent something since then, was about the debate rules. He's like, why would I agree to a debate rules change when I won this last one handily or so easily? That's the last tweet I saw him make. And that was probably, sometime on early Thursday that I saw that. I think it was early in the morning on Thursday I saw that one.
If you follow our timeline, that works.
Yeah.
That works. If we check the what we're going to call the White House super spreader tracker, because we might as well at this point, right? Those who tested positive, all right. We have Typhoid Donald, his wife Melania, his hopeful side piece Hope Hicks, Republican National Committee Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel. Ronna, folks, don't get. I'm not making it up. I'm not making fun. It's Ronna, not Rhonda. I can't tell you how many people's called her Rhonda. It's Ronna.
You know whose husband that is, right? Or wife that is, right?
I have no idea.
Isn't that Romney's wife?
Honest to God, I don't know.
It's Mitt Romney's niece.
Oh, okay.
Oh, his niece. Okay.
And I believe he actually urged her to drop the Romney name for this run.
Yeah, well, okay. But I knew she was somehow affiliated with the Romneys. Yeah.
It's actually his niece.
Thanks for that clarification, Lou. That's good.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, honestly, I didn't know. So, and Senator Mike Lee. Those who have yet to step up to the plate are Pence, Karen Pence, Barron Trump, and of all these names, he's the one person I hope doesn't get it.
Yeah.
He's still a kid. I don't give a fuck what asshole parents he has, and he's a special needs kid on top of that. So, hopefully he stays safe. Ivanka, it's got to be Jared.
Tiffany exposed.
Yeah. Amy Barrett, who the Supreme Court nominee, who apparently supposedly had it earlier this year. That's what they're saying. That's just what people are saying. I haven't seen anybody confirm that or not. H&H Services Secretary Alex Azar, Mike Esper, the Defense Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, who I don't even think is even in the country now. I mean, God knows where the hell he is.
Italy, I think.
Well, yeah, he's getting rejected by the Pope. How about that? Somebody who's fucking celibate rejected him.
I love it.
Isn't that nice? That's got to be a kick in the nuts. You know that? He got shut down. All right, I'm sorry. Larry Kudlow, that piece of garbage. So I think that's the who's who in the Trump super spreader group. So a couple of these folks better step up or they're going to be out of job.
I'm going to hell for that thing I just sent you on Discord, but I had to laugh.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, geez. Yeah. You know what?
See, you're laughing. You'll be there too.
Guess who else is gonna be?
Kelly.
Yeah.
Everybody watching, because I'm sharing this fucker. Sorry, folks, we're going to hell, and you're all coming with us right now. So there you go.
More, yeah. Ernie, stretcher, wheelchair, helicopter.
Uh-huh.
And then we'll ask you about it 5 minutes from now and see if you can remember.
The first comment was the best though. Oh my god!
Too bad they weren't drinking something.
Oh, you saw that one, right?
COVID one.
Dude, I'm sorry, that's ridiculous. But it was all in this. It was all in the same in the same tweet line. But oh my god, it's amazing what people can do when they're motivated, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, one pic of him in a wheelchair would piss him off. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't believe we're sitting here laughing at this. You guys are morbid. Yeah. Yeah, we are.
You know what they said on Fox News about, reopening the economy? Remember that? People die, old people die. I mean, it's going to happen, right? I mean, he's an old.
Didn't he say that you have grandparents who would be willing to do that?
Yeah, so I guess Trump's willing to do it too. So,
Yeah. Take one for the team.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. These guys, it's like as soon as you should just remember what these idiots say and then just like wait 6 months, right? You just sit there and go, oh my God.
Yeah.
You said that, well, according to Cal Griffin, he just walked out of the White House and boarded Marine One. Okay, so he walked out.
Yeah, they had them all. They got them all hydrated. They had them all up on the cocktail, and they got him ready to go. When he was ready to stand up and walk out, that's when they did it. So, yeah.
Well, there you go. You know what? You're probably right. Everybody around him is wearing masks. Okay, we get this one out here. This is from Jim Acosta, who is either really, really good or really, really motivated, right? Because since they tried to screw him over, he's been on a mission. So there's our fearless leader right there. I'm sorry, you guys can't see my pointer. Here he is. So this guy's got a mask. This guy's got a mask. This guy all the way over here is wearing a mask. I don't even know what he does. He's probably Secret Service. Can't see if this guy's wearing a mask, but even the Marine's wearing a mask. Do you know it's bad whenever Marines are wearing masks, okay? You know there's a freaking problem whenever that's happening. Okay? I mean, come on. And this jackass can't do it? It's insane. Absolutely insane. So apparently he's on his way to do something presidential, I guess. I'm assuming that somebody has to take the reins and get on Tucker's show tonight. Then, right?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, somebody's got to fill in for the boss, do boss things. Wonder who that's going to be.
Maybe they'll have one of the Proud Boys on.
Well, yeah, there's that. You think? Remember that green jacket Melania was wearing whenever it was the kids in the ICE detention centers? What did it say on the back? I really don't care to you.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. What do you think? Really don't care?
I'm glad you brought her up. I mean, I think that that's another little one that kind of got shoveled under the dirt, so to speak, at this moment was the tape of her. And honestly, I didn't find a lot of it to be very newsworthy. The only thing I thought was ironic was how she was bitching about decorating for Christmas, and she said, "Who gives an F?" But she said the full word: "Who gives an F about Christmas?" And that's the big talking point amongst the Fox News crowd, that there's this big war on Christmas that really doesn't exist on the left or in the liberal side of things, but they want to pretend like the left and the liberals hate Christmas and don't want to celebrate Christmas. There's a war on Christmas amongst the liberals. Well, meanwhile, the First Lady, in her own words, said, "Who gives an F about Christmas?"
Oh yeah, there it is right here.
Yep.
Well, I'm sorry, there was this one, right?
Yeah.
I was it up here, right?
Yeah. I do understand working Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I've said, you guys have heard me say it, and I'm going to keep on saying it. I don't care. She's as bad as he is. He's just proud of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He made a name on it. She made a name on her tits. That's it. It wasn't her brain. It wasn't her great ideas. Look at the freaking Rose Garden, for God's sake.
Yep.
Okay. What does she have to offer?
No.
There you go. Right? That's it. That's all she's got. And she plays it. And she's as bad as he is. She's just as bad. Well, guys, what do you say we put this puppy to bed?
Here, I'll throw this at you to end the week on, because I don't know why I got a chuckle out of this. I don't know if you've seen this, but we throw it Discord because I can't. I'm on the phone. It's easier for you.
Okay, I'll throw it. That is a great way to end this. Absolutely fantastic way to end this. Here we go. There we go. What am I thinking about Monty Python right now? You know?
Yeah, I think we have seen it. Yeah, the Monty Python.
There should be a castle over here someplace.
With the catapults with the pigs and the cows flying.
Somebody in a really cheesy French accent right now. Oh, holy shit! Okay, good way to end the week, guys. For everybody,
run away!
with the coconuts. By the way, there was some truth to that. Do you know why that they had the coconuts?
Because they couldn't afford horses.
They couldn't afford horses. That's how bad it was. Right?
There, look at Discord again. There you go.
I'm putting it up right now. There it is for everybody who doesn't know what we're talking about. There's the cow. Here's another one. Oh God! They just don't make them like they used to. It's terrible.
He's a king. How do you know he's a king? Because he doesn't know shit all over him.
Strange women's passing out swords, standing in waters is no form of government. It's not a good basis for government. Great movie. Folks, for everybody watching, thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate it. We will be back on Tuesday. Same bat time, same bat channel. But until then, everybody have a great weekend. Who knows what the hell's going to happen over the weekend?
Nobody knows.
Yeah, you know what? Good luck. Hopefully we'll all survive it. If you can't, just do what we'll, just drink. Okay. And until then, goodbye, good luck, and God bless. We'll see everybody Tuesday. I'm sorry. Bye bye.